Good evening, you fantastic and glorious degenerates of this floating rock that we call Earth. Welcome to Off the Wire. I am your host, Noel Lynn, aka the Cajun Libertarian. And tonight we have a fun episode lined up. Man, let's just get into it. um, uh, uh, there's going to be a lot that we deal with tonight. However, I am going to literally hang out with you in the comment section because we have so much disturbing and dystopian news that is happening right now that what we need, what this country needs, what you need, what I need personally is an enlightenment of fun. Not just fun, but information. And so we're going to go over these topics that I laid out in uh, the promotionals of this show tonight, which are aliens, World War III, zombie viruses, and probably a little bit more. However, despite the dystopian news that we're going to go over, I really, 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 really want to hear from you in the comment section. So I'm going to spend an exorbitant amount of time in the comment section with you engaged because what we need is answers. What we need is a light-hearted episode in which we can kind of not necessarily just make fun of these people or make fun of the situation or make light of the situation. What we need is just to have a good time while we also cover the topics. So, like I said, tonight the topics are aliens, World War III, and everything else. That's just zombie viruses for one, which is remarkable. So we'll cover all that and more coming up right now on the Cajun Libertarian Show, Off the Wire.
The game plan.
Yes, indeed. So let's have some fun tonight. I really want you to engage in the comment section because I really want to hear what you have to say. And we have a bunch of fun tonight. Let's hang out. Real quick, let's hear a word from Spike Cohen.
The game plan of You Are the Power is pretty simple. We find people who are being harmed or abused or neglected or mistreated by their local governments. And this is my life's work. We want to help people.
This is something that has already began to affect real change. This isn't some distant, futuristic, utopian dream. It's already happening. It's making its course. It's making waves right now as we speak.
If you want to learn how to become an effective activist and then to do actual activism and actually help people now, not wait for, like you said, some distant utopian future where libertarians take over the world and leave everyone alone. If you want to do that now, that's what we're doing. This next year is going to be the year that people see what liberty actually looks like. Not what it sounds like, not what our philosophy is, but what the actual results and idea, what the solutions behind what we do. So that's what I'm doing with You Are the Power. I would love for you to be a part of it. YouAreThePower.net. We'd love for you to become a member. And this is my life's work.
Outstanding. Thank you, Spike. And YouAreThePower.net. Obviously, you can see YouAreThePower.net. And you can sign up for free. Go get your subscription and find out what's going on and how Spike is improving each local community one day at a time. It's really magnificent. It's actually what we're supposed to be doing as a libertarian, small government, liberty-minded population. So please go check them out. YouAreThePower.net. Now, let's get into it. And we're going to start with the first comment. Scientific Libertarian 2.0. The zombie virus seems to only infect amoebas so far. Dun, dun, dun. All right. That's funny. And that's a great segue into those of you that will listen later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, which is just roaring in high speed. I'm shocked, right? So for those of you that are listening later, every image that I will describe will be, presented in an appropriate manner. I do my best because I'm still very much learning at this process, as to be able to, let everyone know, because there's a lot of people that watch this show across many platforms. And when you're listening in the podcast format via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc., where you can go and leave me a 5-star review and sign up, right? That's a real thing. You can do that. But they also need the descriptions of the images that I will be putting forth, which that's going to happen quite often. Heather says, nice shirt. Thank you. Thank you very much. She also says, hey, hey, hey. All right. So tonight, again, it's your comments. All right. We're going to have fun tonight with this news. So I want you to comment so that I can go to your comments and then we talk about them, because I'm not going to spend a lot of time on each particular article tonight. Also, please go follow me, like the show, share it, subscribe to the YouTube channel at The Cajun Libertarian. You can follow me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. YouTube is the big one that I'm really trying to get going, because I have the subscribers to get monetized, but I don't have the watched hours. And so I'm trying to get that developed, because it's free for you. All of this is free for you, but yet it helps the movement and my voice get out there. So before we get started on the headlines, which is fantastically funny, we're going to address something real quick. Trump says he expects to be arrested on Tuesday. This is from March 17th from The Blaze. Literally, dude says he expects himself to be arrested. Former President Donald Trump says he expects to be arrested Tuesday in connection with a Manhattan district attorney investigation, and urged citizens to protest, according to a Saturday morning social media post. Well, look, I'm not against the protest. Amen. Do your thing. Please, for the love of God, keep it peaceful. Look what they did to you on 1-6. Don't do that. That's what they want. Please don't do that. You want to protest? Fine. But let me remind you that nothing is going to come of this, okay? Even if Trump is freaking arrested, and I'll go through this more on Wednesday night, because we'll have more information. Please don't get violent. My God. Please don't get violent. That's what the establishment wants. So don't do it. Be smart. Be an intellectual individual that makes good decisions. Quote, the far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of these United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week, Trump wrote Saturday on Truth Social, using all capital letters. Quote, protest, take our nation back. He also said, there has been no notification other than illegal leaks from the Justice Department and the DA, the district attorney, the DA office, to NBC. Sorry, my bad. To NBC and other fake news carriers, that the George Soros-funded radical left Democrat prosecutor in Manhattan has decided to take his witch hunt to the next level. Quote, end quote, a Trump spokesperson later said. Apparently, walking this statement back, a local news station reported, quote, President Trump is rightfully highlighting his innocence in the weaponization of our injustice system. He will be in Texas next weekend for a giant rally, end quote. The spokesperson also said. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens. You know, I've seen this witch hunt a lot. Who knows? Who knows? Lucy says NPCs are infected with the mind virus. Yeah, exactly. Scientific Libertarian says there's a lot of people protesting this, and they all seem to be dressed like feds for some reason. Dot, dot, dot. Oh, man. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really have no clue. All I'm saying is that, look, go do your thing. Okay? Protest, fine. Whatever. I don't see the reason in it. This is literally a protest over an indictment, quote unquote, allegedly, over paying off a porn star. Like, if we were going to arrest former presidents for stuff, maybe I would consider the fact that they drone stroke children. They're drone striking kids and innocent civilians. But you're worried about being a porn star paid off? You know, miss me with that. At the very least, without me getting completely irate, because I really, really, really want to. But I won't, because this is supposed to be a fun episode. But you're really going to try to arrest a former president over paying a prostitute? I mean, how many presidents have murdered innocent children and women over the decades? This is what you're going. I'll leave it there. All right. Let's move on. Because I want your comments. And so I'm going to keep everything I have to say short so that we can interact and have a fun time tonight. How about that? Scientific Libertarian. There's a lot of people protesting this. And they all seem to be dressed like feds for some reason. ... I'll leave that up for interpretation. Now, let's move to outer space. How about that? Let's go spend some time in outer space. Pentagon officials suggest alien mothership in our solar system could send mini probes to Earth. This is from Newsweek, but it was originally published by Fox News, according to Newsweek, on March 15th. Pentagon officials said in a draft document last week that aliens could be visiting our solar system and releasing smaller probes like missions conducted by NASA when studying other planets. Fun. A draft research report authored by Sean Kirkpatrick, the director of the Pentagon's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, and Abraham Loeb, chairman of Harvard University's astronomy department, was released on March 7th and focuses on the physical constraints of unidentified aerial phenomena. Well, let's see. Do you let me know? Let me know in the chat, because again, this is more of an AMA, I guess, but not really an AMA, but an interactive situation. Do you or do you not believe that aliens exist? Yes, no, in between. Let me know what you think, and let me know your reasons why, because I'm not particularly sold on yes, but I'm also very much not sold on no. So let's find out what you think in the comment section. Excuse me. Howdy ho, Cajun neighbors. Patricia Marie says, what is going on? She says, probe me. That's hilarious. That's a really good joke. Really, really good. Really good. All right. Quote. An artificial interstellar object could potentially be a parent craft that releases many small probes during its close passage to Earth, an operational construct not too dissimilar from NASA missions, end quote, the report said. Also, quote, the dandelion seeds. Why would they use that vernacular? That you could have just ran regular, but okay. They used a planetary analogy, but whatever. Let's go with it. Quote, these dandelion seeds could be separated from the parent craft by the tidal gravitational force of the sun or by a maneuvering capability, end quote. The AARO was established in July of 2022 and is responsible for responsible for tracking objects in the sky, underwater, and in space. Wait, what? Hold on. Let's pause there for a minute. If this institution, as if we need more of them, but anyway, fun, lighthearted conversation tonight. Okay, your input more valuable than mine tonight. Well, actually, always, but tonight especially. Let's talk about that for a second. Hold on. The AARO was established in July of 2022 and is responsible for tracking objects in the sky, underwater, and in space. Why? Underwater. What? That to me, those are some of the comments that make me think about what they're actually telling us. I have serious doubts. Obviously, about what's going on. Let's see. The object, and this is a report from 2017 from a Hawaiian named object. The object was cigar-shaped, appeared flat, and was propelled away from the sun without showing a cometary trail. Sorry, I'm losing my my reading here. Leading scientists to believe it was artificial. So it didn't have a cometary tail, meaning it didn't have any comet trail. But yet they were still able to track it, and it was. Excuse me if I'm confused here, but it was traveling at a speed that a comet would normally, while it was not using a comet trail. If I interpreted this right, which I did, leading scientists to believe it was artificial. 3 years later, another object was discovered, the report noted, namely NASA's Rocket Booster 2020 SO, by the way, not so, but SO, which had also no cometary trail, is how that's actually said. The report also said 6 months before the Hawaiian named object made its closest approach to Earth, a meteor-sized, how's that right? A meteor-sized interstellar meteor? The F, why would you word it like that? A meteor-sized interstellar meteor. Okay, whatever. If it's a meteor, then it's not meteor-sized, but all right. IM-2 crashed on Earth and exhibited an identical speed relative to the sun at large distances and an identical shape to the Hawaiian named object. Quote, without proper design, these tiny probes would reach the Earth or other solar system planets for exploration. As the parent craft passes by within a fraction of the Earth-Sun separation, just like the Hawaiian named object, I guess, did. The authors wrote, quote, astronomers would not be able to notice that the spray of many probes because they do not reflect enough sunlight for existing survey telescopes to notice them. Wow. All right. So they claim to have evidence of certain UFOs within a certain orbit sphere of the planetary system in regards to us, in relationship with the sun and the distance between Earth and the sun. However, astronomers would not be able to notice the quote unquote spray. This is all a quote, by the way. Quote, astronomers would not be able to notice the spray of many probes, many M-I-N-I, right? Not M-A-N-Y, M-I-N-I, probes, because they do not reflect enough sunlight for existing survey telescopes to notice them. Also, remember that the New York Post reported in February of this year on the 13th, top U.S. general is not ruling out aliens after military shoots down 3 UFOs. Remember, UFOs doesn't mean aliens. It just means unidentified flying objects. All right, let's get to your comment section because that's why we're here tonight. Heather says, I think there's life out there, but there's no reason to think that they're humanoid or like us. I agree and disagree. I have no idea. Right? I have no idea if there's life out there. I don't. But here's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about this. A lot of people say it's, and maybe some of your comments have already expressed this. I don't know. Haven't checked yet. Like, oh, this is a distraction. But how? How? Ain't nobody talking about it. If it were a distraction, it would be a successful one. And they've been talking about this for 3 years. How they've proven life on other planets or other life than on our planet. So I'm not sure that it's a distraction, but maybe. Scientific Libertarian says they're probably out there, but separated by vast distances of space. And if they're like us, troublesome government regulation. That's the best comment I've ever heard on aliens. Oh my God, that's good. Patricia Marie. Watch way too many documentaries. And we all become conspiracy theorists and identify as told you so. Pronouns. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to have to lean in on the computer because the words are really small. Entrails, says Patricia Marie. Scientific Libertarian. It doesn't have a comet's trail, then it's not a comet. It's just an asteroid. Comets have ice and other components that evaporate and make a trail. That's a good point. We'll see what happens. Don't forget that, like I said, we just had the Major General talk about this. Now, this is kind of outdated, but I saved it for an event just as this, right? Radio signal nearly 9 billion light years away captured by telescope on Earth. CBS News reports on January of 2023. Researchers say that they have captured a radio signal from the most distant galaxy to date. The signal, which had a specific wavelength called the 21 centimeter line, is helping answer questions about the early universe, according to a new release from McGill University published last week. The radio signal captured by the Giant Meteor Wave Radio Telescope in India was in the galaxy known as SDSSJO 826 plus 5630. Where do they come up with this crap? Researchers at McGill, sorry, my accent come through. Researchers at McGill University and the Indian Institute of Science studied the signal and found it was emitted when the universe was 4.9 billion. How are you going to know that? 4.9 billion years old. Man, you don't possibly honestly know that. There's no way. But anyway, let's keep going. Quote, it's the equivalent to a look back in time of 8.8 billion years, end quote, said researcher Arnab Chakraborty. It's about as close as I'm going to get to that. Yeah, man, look, I don't know. It's the equivalent to a look back in time of 8.8 billion years. Come on. There's really no realistic way of calculating that. If we're being really honest, come on. All right. Researchers said, quote, this effectively results in the magnification of the signal by a factor of 30, allowing the telescope to pick it up, end quote, said another scientist, co-author of the study and associate professor at the Indian Institute of Science. This signal bending is called gravity. I like this part. This signal bending is called gravitational lensing, and it could help researchers observe faraway galaxies and the cosmic evolution of stars. So basically what they're saying is that because the signal reached through a certain galaxy, that the light, air, sound, all of the elements involved at that point in space and time bent that signal and shot it to a point that we could actually receive it and interpret it, receive and interpret it. Who the hell knows if they're telling the truth? I have no idea. So I don't know. Let me check your comments real quick. Scientific Libertarian. Comets have ice or other solid materials. That is correct. That exasperate and make a trail. 100%. The object would be an asteroid. Very valid concept. Heather says, I think most mention of it by our intelligence agency is diversionary. You're probably, look, this is the problem I have with that, right? Like, I'm not disagreeing with you. My issue is that, like, it's not working because we've been talking about aliens from government papers for 3 years and ain't nobody care. Scientific Libertarian. When you filter out specific wavelengths beyond the visible spectrum, you can tell what physical properties an object has by what light bounces off of it. That is mostly correct. We can assume what those things have by the metrics that you've laid forth. I 100% agree on that. I will not agree on the fact that it's absolute, especially when it comes to distances. Especially when it comes to distances via space, trying to measure it by the light and the way it reflects off of certain objects. I mean, it just gets muddier and muddier. This is not something that we are going to be able to rely on at all. But it's fun to talk about, right? Fun to talk about aliens. Absolutely. Quote, a galaxy emits different kinds of radio signals. Until now, it's only been possible to capture this particular signal from a galaxy nearby, limiting our knowledge to those galaxies closer to Earth, end quote. That dude said, I'm not doing that name again. Quote, but thanks to the help of a naturally occurring phenomenon called gravitational lensing, we can capture a faint signal from a record-breaking distance. This will help us understand the computation of or composition of galaxies of much greater distances than Earth. Trust none of this. Trust none of it, because it may be spot on, right? It might be. I would suggest that it's probably not. It's probably not spot on, but it might be slightly accurate. But there are really no perfect metrics as to which we are supposed to be able to gauge these things. It's just impossible. It's not possible. And I'll give you the one greatest example of how it's not possible, because none of us have traveled 10 billion light years to find out if the system effing works. It's not difficult, right? To trust these people blindly. And I'm not saying anybody in the chat or anybody listening to this is guilty of this, right? But come on. Literally, you cannot be an absolutist in this matter unless you have traveled the light years and shown via physical evidence that what they say is 100% accurate. They can't do that. That's not possible. Therefore, no reason to take any of this at face value. You just, you take it for what it is. It's just fun. That's it. It's just fun. Are there aliens? Who the hell knows? I don't know. Seems more every day like there are. And it's very much shocking to me that none of us talk about it. That's weird to me. That's very weird to me. That's why I don't think this is a distraction, because they keep releasing over the last 3 years all of this stuff that they claim is true or that they believe to be true about literally aliens, and we don't talk about it. That would, to me, seem the biggest issue with that. All right, moving on to the next topic. Scientists have revived a zombie virus that spent 48,500 years frozen in permafrost. That's excellent. Or it's not. Before we get to that, let's get to our next sponsor. Lunatic Libertarian. Let's hear a word from him.
What mom think pampered this Mother's Day? Gift her the ultimate gift of comfort with Cozy Earth. Whether it's their...
Oh, that's my bad. Wrong one.
Welcome all. This is Justin Law is the Lunatic Libertarian Podcast, the place to engage lunatic ideas about freedom, building skill sets, encouraging individual tangible knowledge, self-sufficiency, and engaging all of humanity, regardless of political affiliation, sex, race, color, creed, pronoun, preference, social economic background, or any label, title, or category you choose to affiliate yourself with. We appreciate all the knowledge for the better of all mankind, and we thank you for listening to the Lunatic Libertarian.
Outstanding. Thank you for sponsoring the show. You can follow the Lunatic Libertarian at the Lunatic Libertarian on Facebook, Anchor, Spotify, and YouTube. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Now, let's move on as soon as I get this off the screen. Okay. Scientists have revived a zombie virus that spent 48,500 years frozen in a permafrost. This is from CNN on March 8th. Now, I did briefly cover this on last Thursday, because not the past Thursday, but the Thursday before that, because it was the 3-year anniversary of 2 weeks to flatten the curve, 15 days to flatten the curve. Cannot get my words right tonight for some reason. All right. Why? Why are we doing this? Explain that. There is no scientific or legitimately intellectual reasoning for why we're doing this. So let's ask a couple questions here. While a pandemic unleashed a disease. Let me say it like this. While a pandemic unleashed by a disease from the distant past sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie. Scientists warn that the risks, though low, are underappreciated. How low are the risks, really? Really? No. How low are the risks? Although underappreciated. You're resurrecting zombie viruses that have been frozen, according to your article, frozen in permafrost. That's not a low risk by any metric whatsoever, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to skip past the part that I already read. If you want to hear all that, then go back to Thursday's episode on the Liberty Lunch Break Show. Tomorrow is going to be fun. Tomorrow and Tuesday's lunch episode is absolutely fantastic. Oh, they're so good. Those episodes are so short, by the way. They're like 2 to 10 minutes long max for the most part. Usually right at about 5 to 6 minutes. Tomorrow and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm not gonna go through all this because I just went through it on Thursday. You can go check that show out. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Here's where I'm gonna pick up. He repeated the feat in 2015, isolating a different virus type. Now, what he's talking about, what this article is talking about, is what he did with the previous viruses that he discovered from the quote unquote permafrost. Now, this article is from CNN, and what they're trying to beat in your head is climate change is an existential threat. And this is all coming from that. It's just a blatant, absolute lie. Climate change is what it is. The things that are coming through it, and I have to say it that way because I'm on YouTube and because it's one of my fastest growing platforms. And so really would like to say what I actually think about it, but let's just say that Greta Thunberg said the world would end in 2023. She has recently deleted that tweet. So I'll say that and leave it there. All right. Let's see. I wanted to get to more important parts of this and find out what you thought of it. Dude repeated the feat in 2015, isolating a different virus type, which the one he previously isolated was something that was specific to basically amoebas or single cellular organism. So that and in this one he isolated a different virus type that also targeted amoebas. And in his latest research published February 18th in the journal Viruses, Clavier and his team isolated several strains of ancient virus from multiple samples of permafrost taken from several different places across Siberia and showed they could infect cultured amoeba cells. Those latest strains represent 5 new families of viruses. On top of the 2 he had revived previously, the oldest was almost 48,500 years old, based on radiocarbon dating on the soil. You believe that? I don't. You can believe what you want. It's up to you. But to believe that this carbon dating system is 100% accurate, I'd say you're a cultist. Absolutely ridiculous. There's no proof. They've been wrong time and time again, but hey, you do you. Came from a sample soil of the earth taken from an underground lake 16 meters, which is 52 feet in our language, below the surface. The youngest samples found in the stomach contained an coat. What is going on, CNN? Look, grammar check your crap, CNN. My God, all I did was copy and paste. And I got to find out where I left off. My goodness, you're killing my show, CNN, just from your freaking grammatical errors, you trash site. And I wanted to use CNN because it's just kind of funny, but here we are. Grammar checking CNN in real time. Amazing, amazing stuff. We view these amoeba infecting viruses as surrogates for all other possible viruses that might be in the permafrost, end quote, Clover told CNN. Quote, we see the traces of many, many, many other viruses, he added. So we know they are there. We don't know for sure that they are still alive. But our reasoning is that the amoeba viruses are still alive. There is no reason why the other viruses would not still be alive and capable of infecting the other. I'll leave it there. Look, do you need to really know anything else? Okay, so they didn't do any real research. They tried to erect viruses in a permafrost, which they say are now infectious, which they say that they worked towards not allowing other people to infect. But we're supposed to believe that they know what they're talking about. While at the same time, legitimately having to be worried about the fact that they're resurrecting viruses, or quote unquote resurrecting viruses from ancient times that we may not have an immune system to. And we have no ability to block, with other than the fact that we have to be naturally inoculated to them, unless you want to go with the whole they're going to gain a function, research it to hell, and then develop some sort of shot at best to defend against it. How about you just not freaking drive up old viruses that are thousands, centuries years old? That could be a pretty basic remedy, I would think. Not do that. All right. But look, we are where we're at, and they're going to do what they're going to do at this point. So our responsibility is to talk about it and make fun of it. And I'm going to make fun of it right now. You're a bunch of idiots. Why are you doing what you're doing, you smooth brain morons? Stop messing with viruses that are centuries, years old, that are apparently buried under ice. What? Go get a hobby and stop making dead viruses that are centuries, years old your hobby. Don't do that. My goodness. All right. Yep. Your comments have gotten incredibly deep. And I don't know who's replying to me or who's replying to each other. So, I'm going to try to pick some out here before we move on to the last subject, because we're at 45 minutes here. I'm going to pick this one and hope it works for the best. Scientific Libertarian. When you filter out specific wavelengths beyond the visible spectrum, you can tell what physical properties and objects have by what light bounces off of it. Okay. Maybe. Until you can go out into outer space and prove it over a distance of what we would call light years, hard pass. That you're absolutely correct in the physical presence that we preside right now. 100% correct. Outer space? No, I don't believe you. I don't believe them. Let me say it like that. Let's see. We were supposed to be eating green. Say crackers. Made of people by 2022. Thanks, Dave Davis. That's rough, though. Scientific Libertarian says the fungus makes bugs climb upwards or towards their colony so it can spread to its spores. I don't know who you're talking to, but as someone who is a specialty in bugs, entomology, no, not always the case. Actually, most of them forage out for food and water. Most of them are going to go while a select few are going to stay within the nest and breed. Most are going to go out and forage. So, but he's probably not talking to me because he's talking about the fungus makes bugs climb upwards. That's probably what that is. All right, one more from him. Scientists name things like you'd expect. To nerd them. Zombie virus. This is hedgehog gene named after Sonic the Hedgehog. All right. This is just okay. It's already convoluted with stuff I'm not gaining there. So makes for bad TV. This is already bad TV. This is a horrible episode already. And I already know because I was hoping to go in a different direction with it. I really wanted kind of an interactive while I read stuff, but I did not do a good job of that. So an embarrassing episode to say the least. That's all right. Last point. Patricia Murray says this is good TV. Market failure all around. Bad reading, bad commentary. It does make for good TV, actually. So enjoy yourselves. However, most of the time, I am much better. I tried to do something new for this episode and it did not work. So that's my bad, my fault. Let's move on to the last subject because we have just a couple of minutes left before we have to get up out of here. As I told you last week, we are on the brink of nuclear war. Russia nuclear submarines deployed off U.S. coast. That's from Newsweek 3/6/23. I just reported on that. Amid Ukraine war, Kremlin orders nationwide bomb shelter overhaul. That's from the Russian government. That just happened last week, February 2023, from the Moscow Times. Now, as most of you know, U.S. says Russian warplane hits American drone over Black Sea. This is from the Associated Press, March 14th. A Russian fighter jet struck the propeller of a U.S. surveillance drone over the Black Sea on Tuesday in a, quote, brazen violation of international law, end quote, causing American forces to bring down the unmanned aerial vehicle, the U.S. said. Moscow said the U.S. drone maneuvered sharply and crashed into water following an encounter with Russian fighter jets scrambled to intercept it near Crimea, but insisted its warplanes didn't fire their weapons or hit the drone. The incident, which raised tension over Moscow's war in Ukraine, appeared to mark the first time since the height of the Cold War that a U.S. aircraft was brought down after being hit by a Russian warplane. U.S. President Joe Biden was briefed on the incident. Like, who cares? We know the dude is half dead. You can tell us that Joe Biden's been briefed. It makes no freaking difference because he is a dead puppet. Anyway, U.S. President Joe Biden was briefed on the incident by National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. According to the White House National Security spokesman John Kirby, he added that U.S. State Department officials would be speaking directly with their Russian counterparts and, quote unquote, expressing our concerns over this unsafe and unprofessional intercept. So when do we get to the point where the American people says, we're done. We're done with this. There's no reason for us to be involved. This is literally a risk of nuclear war, global nuclear war. And yet we're still supposed to entertain the idea. That's good. Patricia says it's better than CNN. That's a low bar. A low bar, but accurate. I probably do get more downloads and views than CNN, which that would be ridiculous. And so also let me note this. If not, then I'm closing in very quickly. U.S. Russian airplane, or U.S. says Russian airplane hits American drone over Black Sea. By the way, there's a video of that, but I don't know that the video is true or not. Newsweek as of March 15th says fact check. Is video of U.S. drone taken down by Russian jet real? So I'm not going to talk about that because that's not worthy of talking about. But go check that out from Newsweek, March 15th. Fact check: is U.S. video of U.S. drone taken down by Russian jet real? So go check that out because I've seen that video everywhere. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. They don't really offer a definitive answer, but it is very interesting of what they explain too. So let me give you these last couple of headlines of World War III nonsense, and then we're going to get up out of here because I failed us miserably, and I apologize. I thought I would be able to do something different. I failed, and so we're here apologizing, and we're going to do better next time. Absolutely. All right. Here's the last couple of headlines. China accuses the United States and its allies of taking a dangerous road as submarine pack fuels proliferation fears. This is from March of 14th NBC. I encourage you to go read that article. It's long, but it's packed with detail, absolutely packed with detail, and you need to go read it. I'll read the headline again so that you can put it in your notes so that you can read it because it's fascinating. China accuses United States and its allies of taking a dangerous road as submarine pack fuels nuclear proliferation fears. March 14th of NBC. The deal known as AUKUS, which is an acronym, I'm paraphrasing now, which is an acronym of Australia, the UK, and the United States, exploits a loophole in a landmark global nuclear treaty, which has raised fears from arms and controls experts. China has criticized the United States, Britain, and Australia over their pact on nuclear-powered submarines. Now, you might note that that happened very recently where we supplied Australia with nuke subs, which we're supposed to believe that they're not going to use in conflict. Make sense. That makes no sense. All right, here's from Tim Cast on March 15th. TimCastNews.com. Last one. China, Russia, Iran hold joint military drills in Gulf of Oman. U.S. officials say they are not concerned over the military exercise, but they will, quote, monitor it. So we're supposed to be concerned about a border dispute in Ukraine. Like that's the most pressing issue to Americans to date. But we're not supposed to be concerned with China, Russia, and Iran holding joint military drills. Make it make sense. Literally, U.S. officials say they are not concerned over the military exercise, but they'll monitor it. Yeah, thanks. While we send money, troops, literally, we are training Ukrainian soldiers in Ukraine. Don't get me started on that because I could go off on that, and we're out of time. The drills known as the, I'm sorry, let me back up here for a second. China, Russia, and Iran are conducting joint military exercises in the Gulf of Oman from March 15th to March 19th, according to a press release from China's National Defense Ministry. The drills, known as the Security Belt 2023 exercise, expand upon similar drills conducted in 2019 and 2022. The Associated Press speculated that other countries, that makes no sense. The Associated Press speculated that other countries that could take part in the drills include Pakistan, Oman, and the United Arab Emirates, as those countries have coastline along the Gulf. Chinese military officials have deployed a guided missile destroyer called Nanning, end quote, to participate in the exercises to aid in aerial search, maritime rescue, ship parade, and other drills. The Security Belt 2023 exercise will facilitate the deepening of the practical cooperation among the I'm guessing that's natives. Man, with the freaking typos, guys, you guys are supposed to be professional. I'm an amateur sitting here trying to read your crap. You're screwing me up. Anyway, you get the point. Though the military exercises are now a regular occurrence. This year's drills come as concerns mount over China and Russia forging a closer relationship. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Yep. Sorry, let me preface the last response with I apologize for the failure tonight. I tried something new on a live. It did not work. That's my bad. We still had a bunch of fun. I had a bunch of fun, and it's still better than CNN. This is Patricia Marie. I love y'all. Please like the show, subscribe, share it. This was more of a downgrade of what the show has become. Totally my fault. You don't try stuff new on the air, but then again, how the hell else are you supposed to try it? Right? So tried it, didn't work. Going back to what made this thing one of the most popular podcasts on the planet, quite literally, according to Spotify. So, with that being said, please like, share, subscribe, hit the notifications bell, and share it with your friends. And maybe not this show, but all the other ones that are wildly successful. And we'll continue to maneuver through this process because I'm still very much a rookie. Haven't even hit the 2-year mark yet. Haven't even hit the 2-year mark yet. Also, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically everywhere you get your podcasts. Please go there. Help us out. We have a ton of fun on the show, and it is very, very, very popular. So I love you very much, and I will see you all tomorrow for the midday show, the Liberty lunch break from Off the Wire, the topic du jour, every Monday through Friday at noon Central, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically everywhere you get your podcast. We'll leave it there. I love you very much, and I will see you same Cajun time, same Cajun channel, and I'm out.